The book is right there. Judy Karman, executive to a billion-dollar corporation, a mover, a shaker that way. Lady J Entertainment is her production company, professional actress, also radio personality, who is moving that or evolving that into television, video project. With the radio, when she first, well, it's gone from, in the last year, it's gone from 5 million weekly listeners to about 8.5 million. She has quite a following. Did I misspeak?
No.
No, but I wish you hadn't have told them that. I'm actually pretty humble. And it hasn't finished growing yet. Fascinating lady who understands business, who has lots of amazing contacts. If she were to share with you some of the contacts she has in this industry, I think you'd be very, very surprised. I can't say, she probably won't, but take my word for it, and please help me to welcome the amazing Judy Karman.
Thank you. Now, before we start, I do want to make an introduction to this gentleman up here. You might have seen him around town. His name is Mr. Jones. He's an incredible red carpet photographer, but that is not it. This guy does branding. This guy has his own magazine. When I met him, I'll be talking about relationships, but let me just tell you this. I met him when he first got to town, and we built a relationship with each other, and I've seen this guy just like skyrocket. And because of our relationship with each other, and because we trust each other, that is what relationships are about. It's not about networking. It's about relationship building with people. And today he's actually doing a videotape of my speaking engagement here today, and I'm so happy and proud to have him here and honored that he contacted me to do this. So this is another man to watch. And also, he's one of these people that make me look great on the red carpet. And besides that, is one of the things I will tell you, it's really interesting when you do the red carpet, because it's nice when photographers know you. Hey, Judy, right over here. People are like, why does he know her? But it's great, because then that means, okay, somebody knows this person. Is great for the persona of this industry. And also, I trust this man. I would never worry what kind of picture he was taking of me, because I know I have a built-up relationship with him, and if something were off the wall, this is not the photographer that I would have to worry about. Once again, it's about building relationships. And thank you for coming in today, Mr. Jones. For those of you who don't know me, I am Judy Karman, and I decided when I entered this business that I was going to take it on a business level. I was taking all the things that I learned and transferring my business knowledge over to this industry. It's almost like a consultant. You can almost consult on any product that you have. You just kind of have to learn what's going on and take your knowledge. And I have always had a passion for acting, but I knew that there were other things that I wanted to do. And from my business side, as Rocket said, work for a billion-dollar company. But one of the things I learned through business is that even though I work for a very large company, I wanted to make sure the guy at the very top of the corporate, because there's different divisions, knew who I was. And it wasn't because I called him or had lunch with him, but I made sure that I had a good reputation within the company, because people talk, and that's in any industry, and I work in it's in the financial industry. And every time I had the opportunity to see the top CEO at conferences, I always walked up and said hello to him, and other people kind of look at me and like, you really just walked up to him? Of course I did. I kept introducing myself. And then finally, a couple of years ago, I did. He's like, Judy, I know who you are. Okay! But that was my point. But I knew, that's kind of how I knew that. And why do I know this? And I will tell you, I'm a very privileged individual because of the fact I grew up in San Diego. I grew up with a father that was self-employed, but my dad knew everybody in town. My dad was a tailor, but everybody loved and trusted this man. And growing up, I could never figure it out, because we were this, average family. But everywhere I went, everyone knew who I was. And I thought that was normal. And then as I got older, I'm like, this is not normal. This is not everybody knows everybody, but I realized because people liked and trusted him. And that's everything in business. And that's why he stayed in business for so many years. He was self-employed, one man, had 4 kids and a wife that he took care of. So I knew the value of networking, but also relationships with people. So it goes beyond a project that you may do with somebody, because you may meet different people and they'll refer you to other people. But you want to build that within your world, especially in this industry. Now, some of the things I'm going to tell you, you may agree with, may not agree with, or you may take some things from it for what you want to do and maybe be able to use that for what you want to do. First of all, I want to say to all of you here, you have to know what it is that you're doing, what you want to do, and who you are, okay? Because you can't go up to somebody and they ask you something and you're kind of giving them, well, I don't really know, like, well, you know, you're an actor, what do you do? Oh, I don't know. Well, at least know you do stage, or you do TV, or whatever you do. Know enough about yourself. And remember, when you're approaching somebody, you know, you want to be able to feel like you're bringing something to the table for them. Now, I will tell you, and Rock had mentioned this, I did have a former agent, I might say, that, you know, agents do their thing. But remember something, an agent gets 10%. They don't do 90% of the work. Now, personally for me, I would love to just walk into my agent and dump something on their desk and go, here, this is a project that they want to hire me for, do whatever you need to do because you're my agent, because they're the ones that do the contracts. To me, because I'm out there networking myself, I'm a product. Now remember, like I said, with the agents, a lot of them deal with casting directors. I get that, okay? So I was out there doing my producer, director, and I had an agent that, well, you can't do it that way. It was like I was like going around the rules. I'm like, that's why they're no longer my agent. Because to me, there are no rules. But keep in mind when you're approaching people, who are you approaching? Are you building relationships? Now, here's what people do. I also belong, besides everything else I do have my radio show. That was a kind of a fluke. I was on a show, I was asked to be a co-host, and I've been co-hosting ever since for the last year. I took that on as a challenge. I'm not a broadcaster, and I'm definitely, you know, I wasn't trained. But guess what? It's being an actor in a different way. I will tell you what it is. You have to have a very high energy level because you're building this character that people cannot see. And you want them to like you and miss you and love you and all these other great things. So I was able to build on that, which is really kind of opened another door I didn't think about. I'm like, this is great. What Rock was referring to, I'm in pre-production right now and in kind of in a, I want to say in a research mode because I'm getting with a few people, but I want to turn something into like an internet show where it's like a hosting show. Because I know I can host a show also, not just behind the radio, but actually in front of the camera. So I'm looking at that as one of the projects I'm doing. I'm actually, Rock doesn't even know this, I'm also right now networking with the production company right now that has some major films going on. And I'm also a producer, but I will tell you, I have a lot to bring to the table, but there's a lot of learning I need to do. Now, it'd be wonderful if you can network with people that want to take your strengths, but you have enough or lack of ego to think that you don't know everything and be able to get some good information off of people that truly do that job. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe any of us will ever stop learning. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're an actor, you're a producer, whatever you do. There's always things that you can learn, okay? Some of the things that, that you want to keep in mind is you need to know who you are, what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, and be aware of how people perceive you. I know that sounds like, oh, isn't that cliche? It isn't, because when you're starting out, think about this, when you're starting out in anything, in a business, you are a business, by the way, you're a product, and you have to market it among other products. You don't have any competition. Your competition is you, the one sitting in the chair, because nobody is like you. So you want to not get caught up in, oh my God, there's 50 people that are going for this role. Well, what is it about you that makes you different? And that's what you've got to hone in on. What makes you different, or what's going to bring you forward that people are going to notice you? And like Rock said, it is about time and money. Okay? Yes, there's other ways people may get things in this industry, but it won't last. But I will tell you, this is funny to me. When I first got here, I actually started doing this full time like 2 years ago. I decided, I'm done, I'm living my passion. I've had this passion my entire life, and I've really been probably practicing all my life. I've been a trainer, I've been out in front of people, I can deal with high-level people. I've done so many things, I'm just taking what I have and bringing it forward. But I will tell you, it's really funny, even when I met Rock for the first time, it was like, whoa, you're on time. Okay. Okay. God, you're smiling. Okay. I'm thinking, okay, I do this in my corporate world. I do this in business. This is business. You show up on time. You imagine just wandering in when you feel like it. And so I'm thinking, is it this easy? Because I've got it down. But no, there are certain things that are really important, especially in this business, because I will tell you, it is a small town. And when you're on a set, yes, every minute can count depending what movie set you're on and what that budget is. I was very fortunate also to mentor under a director by the name of Tom Logan. I always mention his name, he doesn't mind me doing that. And one thing, Tom Logan's been in the business 40 plus years. He's worked for the studios, he's an independent director, he's written a couple books. In fact, Rock knows him, he's a New York bestseller, and he's also a drama coach to the politicians. Isn't that kind of funny? But it's true, they need drama coaches. But one of the things I know is, like, you know, you come wandering in 5 minutes late, you could be on a set that's $17,000 a minute that you just lost for the movie. Okay, so being on time, being not being a problem on the set, you know, doing what you're asked. You know, these are all the things that matter, because when they do put people together and they're bringing people along, that's why they use the same people, because they don't want to worry that they've got something going on. And keep in mind, when you're on a set, that director, even though we think, oh, the director has all this power, they have all the responsibility. And I'm telling you, you get in an accident on the way to set, or something happens on the set, they're liable. So believe me, I know we have insurance, but they're still liable. So, you know, you need to be aware of that, especially when you're working in this business. But you want a good reputation, or whatever one that you want to perceive. I'm not telling everybody what they need to do. As far as social media is concerned, this is just me personally. I'll just tell you some of the little tips that I've done. It's been kind of interesting because I've been kind of moving around with it. Yes, social media can be dangerous depending what you do with it and who's on it and who knows what's on Facebook or whatever. But it can work in your favor as long as you're aware that there are things that aren't always that good. Well, there's a lot of things that I meet people that aren't always that good either. But one of the things with the Facebook is I try to keep it business. Okay. Number one, I try to keep away from, you know, my own personal life, like I'm at Starbucks at 9 o'clock and I ate this for dinner, that kind of thing. I try to leave that out. Also, for all of you, and this is male and female, I do not want to say on my Facebook, hey, 9 o'clock I'm at the gym, at 10 o'clock I'm at Starbucks, and guess what, everybody, I'm leaving at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, but I won't be back until Wednesday. Well, guess what? You can get stalkers. You can get people, oh, I know where you live. I mean, seriously, people, do you want, I mean, people talk about stalkers in this town. I mean, you're telling where you're at every time and what exactly Starbucks. I'm at the one at Riverside and Coldwater. I mean, come on. Okay, but once again, I post, but not a whole lot. But when I do post, people watch. The reason why is because I'm posting because I have a reason for posting. I'm somewhere, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And people sometimes, it's kind of funny, they don't quite know what I'm doing. But that's okay, I'm all right with that. Because it says she's doing something, we just don't know exactly why she's doing it the way she's doing it. An example, I do belong to a professional networking group in Los Angeles called the World Networks. It is a professional networking group. There are people in the industry, there are people that have other businesses. It's going back to the old-fashioned, let's network and let's build relationships. Well, one of the things that we're doing, we're launching in different cities. Well, we're launching our first international group, and that's going to be in China. So I talked to the CEO of the World Networks, and I went to a meeting because the person on the advisory board is very tied to China, and they had this one meeting that was the Chinese Society of CEOs. Okay, I went to this networking event and met all these people. And why? Because I recognize that we're in Hollywood, but let me tell you folks, there's a lot of stuff going on all over the world. There's a lot of investors all over the world. There's a lot of filming going all over the world. It isn't just Hollywood. I know we have this Hollywood perception, but I'm going to tell you, Hollywood's kind of this little piece of the puzzle here. And that's fine, but realize there's a whole big world out there. And to me, networking and knowing people and building relations, even if it's all over the world. Now, I've also worked in the last 6 or 8 months building relationships on Facebook internationally. And I have a great market right now in Germany and France and in Italy, and I've gotten a really big one starting now in Dubai. I'm getting all, and these are real people. These are not like, and actually what I do now is I have Facebook people and they're growing like masses, but what I do is I make a list of certain ones like once a month, and I check in with people and say hi. Because I never know if I'm in their country. I may contact them. Hey, want to have a drink? Can I have coffee with you? I've had a few people. I mean, I'm talking huge business people, people that own huge businesses. Some of them are in the industry, some of them are not, but they're very powerful people in their country. Well, these are the people I would like to know if I come to town, that I might be welcome in their country. And that is a skill set, but once again, people are people. So I'm starting to do that. That's just something for me. And that's when I want to point to all of you. If you want to achieve something in particular, think outside the box. What can I do to do this? Because I will tell you, one of the things you have to do in this business, you have to keep marketing, but you have to think, what's the next thing? Thank God I happen to be a Gemini. And I will tell you, I have a sister that's a school teacher, okay? So I'm told, she's a twin, but we are so out of the box, we don't even look alike. But I will tell you, one thing she mentions to me that I keep doing is when I do something long enough, and now I've maximized whatever it is I was trying to do with that idea. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I need to up my game here. I need to do something else. This is not working for me anymore. It worked for me to get what I needed, but I will not keep redoing the wheel because you're not going to get any more out of it. So you've got to constantly think, what can I do? Where can I go? One of the things I want to point out to all of you, and especially when it comes to going out to Hollywood parties, to doing things, there is nothing wrong with that because you are going to network. Okay? One of the things to remember, when you are networking, you only may meet one or two people that you want to keep in contact with. That's great, but remember something. When you get done, go back and keep in contact with them. Email them. Try to build, if it's someone you'd like to know, build a relationship. Meet them for coffee. Whatever it takes. Now, I'm just telling you this. Relationships do not take a week. Okay? There are some relationships, I've met people, and it's just gotten to the point, maybe 6 months down the line, that I've kind of gotten that built relationship. Or they know other people I know, and they've asked about me. Okay, and I don't blame them. I built a really great relationship with Tad. I met him here. But it's taken me a while to build that relationship with him, to get to know, who are you? Unfortunately, not everybody in this town is people you want to know. So it makes it bad for the people that we're all good people and we're honest people and we want to succeed. One of the things too, when you go to parties, there's things you need. I look at pictures because I'm trying to look at myself too, because I'm not perfect. What do I not want to do? How do I want to be perceived? Now remember something, this is LA. If you think about every time that you walk out of your house that there's a camera, there's not. I'm not saying put an ego there. I'm just saying have that mentality, because then you never have to worry about being caught off guard somewhere. Now when you go to a party, one of the things you want to look at, believe me, you can go to a party every day of the week. I personally don't have the energy and time to go to a party every night and do as much as I do. But here's the deal. I go to parties, and then I glean who's there, and after so long I know the people pretty much that I want to meet there, and I probably built a relationship. After that I may go to some parties because someone's having a birthday party in this town that the whole town's invited to, but I know the birthday person, I'll go to that. But I'm trying to work myself up where these other people that I've met will invite me to other parties, maybe parties that are at estates, things that are just not down in the Hollywood area, because I'm building relationships with groups of people. Also, when you're out there, there's not a problem with hanging out with people, but just be aware. Hang out with people, but then pull yourself away. Walk around the room by yourself and meet people. Let me tell you what's not going to happen. If I see, for instance, I see Patrick, and he's got 6 people around him, I'm not going to want to approach Patrick, in the horde of people. That's just not going to happen. And so I may miss an opportunity, or he may miss an opportunity with me. And also, when I look at pictures, believe me, the photographers are out there. I look at some people, and they're always in the same group of people. I even go to parties, and I could look over in the corner, and I could see the same group of people. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm on a movie set, and, what's going on over here? These people don't move from this group. And I almost think of it like background, which is not a problem. And that's the one thing I want to mention. We need background players. We need people that do background work, and some people, that's really what they want to do in this industry. And I think it's great. They want to go to parties, they want to do background. That's wonderful. We need those, just like in a workforce. I've had people work for me in the workforce that they're in a job, and they'll be in that job till they die or leave, and they're happy just having the job and going home. But they serve a very important part. They don't want to go to management, they don't want to move up, they don't want any more pressure, and that's great. But if you want to achieve a little bit more, then you need to market yourself. And one thing when you're in a room, no matter what, you've got to have your energy up. Be careful of how you are. Like if I'm standing at a party and I'm doing one of these, and I'm just talking, there's going to be a photographer, I guarantee you, that's going to catch me doing this, and someone's like, man, Judy's really ticked off. And I'm not, but it's just, whatever. Also, we all drink sometimes, not the 13-year-olds, I hope, but, do not take that glass onto the red carpet. It just doesn't look good, okay? And remember, there are things, and this is one thing I learned real quick here. If you want to change your image, go right ahead, but realize if you go real negative, it doesn't always work to come back. you're at a growing point. Now, there's a lot of forgiveness for people that are A-listers or celebrities that people know, and we forgive and we forgive and we forgive and they get away with it. But believe me, if you're not there at that level and you do something, people will not touch you with a 10-foot pole in this town. They're not going to risk it. They're not going to risk it. So you need to think about, as you're in this growing part, you don't want to wonder why and then find out that everyone's been kind of like, nah, don't work with that person because, then that's what they do. And I mean, Rock would stand behind this on me. People sometimes, if they don't know someone, they'll call someone that they know that might know you, or you've been around on somebody else's set. So the other thing that I have for people is I know I have some real strong advocates in this town that I've worked with or know that I reference. Give Rock a call, give Tom Logan a call. These people actually do know me. So, I mean, it's in my favor that way. But you have to think about what you're doing all the time. As crazy as this sounds, the 1 minute you do something is the one time it's going to be caught on film. I'm just telling you.